Good morning. This is Rich Rollins, Collegiate Coordinator for Baton Rouge Soccer Club, welcoming everybody in our membership to our table talk this morning. Today we have Carla Tejas from Louisiana College Women's Soccer. We're going to be talking about various topics around the area of recruiting and the landscape of recruiting in the 2021-2022 season. Carla, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your program, and then we'll kind of get into the backbone of what we're talking about today.
So I'm Carla. I'm the head coach at Louisiana College. I'm from Chile. I've been in the States for about 6 years. I have been a coach for 4 years now. My first job was assistant coach at LSUA. First year we won conference, Red River Conference. Then I moved into Belhaven University for 2 years. And then I came to Louisiana College as a head coach. About to start my second season. We're transitioning from D3 to NAIA, which is very exciting for us. And we're looking forward to this new process.
Excellent. So, you're making a transition out of what, the NCAA into the NAIA. Again, very exciting. So, when we're starting to look at, what the landscape looks like for this year's seniors, you got a little experience in both realms right now. What can our seniors be looking for? What should they be looking out for in the recruiting process, both from the NCAA side at the Division III level and the NAIA level?
I think for the seniors, is going to be a freshman in college. There's tons of things that I have to look into their program, especially because it's COVID year, which gave everyone in the college level an extra year of eligibility, which means coaches might not be recruiting as much as any other year because they can keep their seniors for another year. So rosters are getting a little bit tighter than any other year. I think seniors needs to look first what they want to study. Do they have your major? Second, they need to get to know the coach. You have to get to know the coach, and you have to know what you're looking in a program. You have to know your goals because the idea of being an athlete, it sounds great. I mean, you're playing college, you're traveling, you get the gear, you have this status of kind of like an important member of a school. Um, but it's not as simple as just saying I'm an athlete. You have morning practices, you have meetings, you have videos, film sessions. You have so many things that involve to be an athlete that in your senior year you need to know if that's what you want to invest your time when you go to college, and if that's what you want to do, you have to also know what's your level and kind of narrow the schools that you're going to target. Because if you are shooting too high and your skills are not there, you're just gonna end up frustrating and probably not playing soccer at all.
Okay. So, we're talking about a lot of things, with our athletes. We talk about self-promotion and, how to, research schools, and you're hitting upon those things right away. For an athlete coming to Louisiana College, which is a smaller school,
Yeah.
as opposed to the university level, because sometimes we hear the words bigger is better, right? And it's not always the case, right? I came from a very small NAIA school. We were number 10 in the country, and we were beating Division I teams left and right when we were playing.
Yeah.
A similar experience. Um, Taking a look at finding that right program, we talked a little about the research, but when we start contacting the coaches, how does that self-promotion piece start working into it? And how are they going to present themselves in the best way to the coaches that they're looking to make contact with?
I think the main thing first is when you make the first contact, let's say it's through email, uh, you have to be very direct and stop the spamming 5,000 coaches, because we can tell when that email is spam that you just change the name of the coach and the name of the school, and the email is the same for everyone. Because I'm not going to pay attention to you. You don't care about my program. Um, doesn't have to be a long email. Tell me your name, your GPA, your your highlight video, and hey coach, I want to have a phone call with you. This is what I like about your school, or can you tell me about your school? Done. So you're being very direct, and I know that you want to have a conversation with me. Therefore, you're like, okay, this player actually wants to know about my program. It's not just a spam that is reaching every single school in the South. You know what I mean? And the second thing I think is the parents. The parents needs to get kind of a little bit away from the recruiting process and let the kids do it. We can tell when a parent is the one doing the recruiting, emailing the coach, doing everything for the kid. At the end of the day, your kid is gonna be the one that is gonna play for me. It's not gonna be the parent. I do want to get to know the family 100% because then I get to know the values of the kid that I'm bringing into my team. But I want to have the direct conversation with my athlete. I want to have an email from my athlete, not from the parent. Um, and I know it's hard sometimes. I've seen it, tons of emails, but I think the main thing for any senior making that first contact, you have to be direct. You have to be short and sweet. Again, we get hundreds of emails every single day about kids that want to get in contact with you. Sometimes it's a whole book. Like I don't have time to read a whole book. Just tell me your name, your GPA, what you like about my school, what do you want to know about my school, and schedule a phone call, and let's get this rolling. You know?
Okay. So simple is better.
Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of interesting because there are so many things that go on, within your sphere of the responsibilities you have because
Yeah,
like maybe they only see the coach on game day. They don't realize that, you have alumni, you have other responsibilities within the school. And the game day is a very small piece of what goes on.
yeah,
So, again, we're talking about NAIA as compared to NCAA again, right? And there's definitely some different rules that go around the ability to talk to coaches and recruiting. Can you touch base with a couple of those in terms of what some of the differences might be that kids can look for in terms of making contact?
yeah. So there is, of course, for example, like NCAA right now is in a dead period, so kids cannot come on campus, and because COVID and all of that. NAIA doesn't have any of that. NAIA is give you so much freedom to recruit. Um, I can talk to you, a freshman in high school. When I was in NCAA, I had to wait for their sophomore year or the first day of their junior year as a D3. There, there's so many rules that involve NCAA that NAIA doesn't have, and it gives you that freedom of talking. Um, I think the clearinghouse is not as harsh because first you don't have an age gap when you're recruiting either. So if I'm recruiting internationals that are 21 into 2 years out of college, it's fine. They can still come in and play, and the NCAA will take a year away from you. Um, the freedom of recruiting is much bigger in NAIA, and I think because of that, NAIA can be so competitive when it comes to D1, D2 schools. You have like you said, you have small NAIAs that can beat a D1, and it's because of freedom of recruiting that we have.
Good. Um, the college experience, right? It's so big and we talk about it often. Um, and we're talking about all around academics and what parents should be looking at and what some of the differences are. Um, in your evaluation, because you've been to both big and small schools, what are the benefits of going to a smaller school in this case, as opposed to some of these bigger institutions that
Yeah.
some of these kids could be looking at?
I think one of the main things about a small school as an athlete is that the professor gets to know you by your name. It's very one-on-one, and as an athlete, you need that. Like for example, this year is my away season, which means there's a month that every single game in my conference is away. We're gonna be on the road every other week, so they're not gonna be in class because we have to leave on a Wednesday and come back on a Sunday. So you're missing 3 days of class, and in a small school, well, they know you by your name. They know that you're not just in your room watching Netflix. They know that you're playing for the school. They know how invested the coaches are. They know how invested the team is. This whole school is invested in sports. I want to say 40-something% of our student population are athletes here. So it's so focused into a sports that our school help the athletes in a massive way. For example, my team had 3.4 GPA, which is really high for a soccer program. Um, a small school helps our athletes to be ready in their academic side as well, not just sports sides.
Okay. So, we're talking about a lot of different things here in terms of experience and, the more personal touch that you find at the smaller school level. Let's jump back into the soccer end of it. You're doing really a major rebuild of a program, at this point, right? And you're in the first process of that. So when an athlete is looking at your school, right, and they do the Google research and they see the other stuff from your predecessor that came
Yeah.
in, and they're trying to get to know you, as a coach. Some of the difficulties have got to be, the school doesn't have this great tradition necessarily behind it right now. So how do you kind of talk to kids about building a new tradition and finding a new way of moving forward with your program? Because you really are, you're trying to change an entire landscape really with the program.
It is, and I want to say, like, my first, we signed 25 players for this season. But I want to say my first 5 were the hardest one. Because of course they go to our website and they're like, shoot, they have won 5 games in the last 5 years. Like, I have many texting me back, coach, sorry, I'm looking for something better. And I'm like, I haven't even talked to you yet. Like, well, how do you know that this is not better, And one of the things that I tell my recruits is that here you have an opportunity to put your name into a program. Mm-hmm. And that's something that opportunity, you don't have in many programs. This season could be the first season that we have a winning season, the first season that we go to playoffs, the first season that we can compete for a championship. And the players that come here, that the ones that won that, they're so far out that they won that so bad that I wanna believe in you, I wanna believe in your program. And I think the players are coming in bought into that. For a reason, we signed 6 players that play for the national team right now. They could go to any other program. They get 100% go to any other program. And I have 2 that were gonna play the World Cup this past February, but they canceled it because COVID. Those players want to come here because first, they know that they can make a change, and they are not afraid of that. They know that there are players that can change a program, and they're willing to take that opportunity, And they also believe that as a coach, I'm going to give my 100% to them. And the school will take care of them as well. Also, the players that came from this past season, they are the foundation of my culture. It took a lot for us to change our culture. It took I started with 18 players and we finished with 13 because not everyone wants to do the hard things, take care of the details. And the players that stayed with me understood that for us to be successful, it's not just bringing talented players. There is a culture behind it. Without a culture, you might win a few games, you're not going to win tournaments. You're not going to win championships. And that's one of the main things that we work on is a culture, is being a good teammate, being a good person, take care of your things, take care of your equipment, be proud of your school. It don't matter the scoreboard. The scoreboard doesn't define my team. And those things were the things that when I started recruiting, I started telling my recruits, this is what we do here. And if you don't feel like that's what you want, then this is not your program. And I'm straightforward with them. This is what I expect from my players. I have high standards. Like I played for my national team for 7 years. The standards are high. And one of the things that I learned from my national team is that the standards don't go down to meet the players. The players go up to meet the standards. and that's something that I will never trans. I will never lower the standards because the players can reach it. I think that's something that changed the team this past season, and I think that foundation is gonna help us to be successful next semester.
Okay, so I'm a player, and I'm hearing that, all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, they have all these national team players come in. How can I fit in, right, to that team? And then at
Mm-hmm.
the same token, we talk about pushing your own standard, your own levels. We're talking to these young players, right? So, for instance, at our club, we started the LATDP Elite program on the men's side. On the ladies' side, we're going to be looking to become part of the developmental league, right, through our Dynamo Dash. Um, how often are you, as a coach, looking into programs like this to find your players as compared to even playing in the regular club programs? I know ECNL is another big place where coaches tend to look for players. Um, how does your recruiting kind of fit into those areas and going into those programs?
Of course, as a coach, you want your players to play in the highest competitive level that they can. Because at the end of the day, you might be good, but if the players around you are not good, or the players that you're playing against are not really good, then when you play at that other level, you might be a bottom player. And that's why I think it's so important to do for you guys to join those kind of like leagues, whatever it is. I think for your club, it's what it makes the difference in your club. You guys put the girls and the boys in push them to play against good teams, because it's really easy to win tournaments when you're the best team because the other teams are not good, right? But club wise, it's not about winning tournaments. That's not the point of the club at the age from 12 to 18 or 8 if you're doing reg plus whatever it is. And this is just my personal opinion, the, the main thing about clubs is develop a player. As a coach, when I go recruiting and I, for example, I go watch one of your games, I don't care about the scoreboard. I'm not even looking at it. I don't even care who's winning. I just want to see the player and how well that player is developed. If the player, oh coach, I won 3 tournaments this past month. Okay, don't really care. It's just care how well have your coach developed you the past few years. Can you play off the ball? Can you read the game? Are you a good teammate? It's so many things that I think sometimes clubs are not. It's not their main focus. It's sometimes, oh, we just want tournaments and tournaments and tournaments. That's awesome, but how well are you developing your athletes? And I think that's something that you guys take care of very, very well.
Okay, so we're going to kind of finish up here with a little. We've covered a lot of areas. If I'm I'm going to take the role of a parent for a moment. So as a parent, I'm looking at your program. I've done the emails. I've done all the things that we need to do. Um, you know, Talk to me a little bit about your campus environment, right? And we talked about, the fact that it's a smaller school as compared to a bigger school. Talk about the campus environment a little bit and what it's like to be at Louisiana College.
Um, I actually really like our campus. It's very nice. We're actually the safest campus in Louisiana. We just got an award last January, if I'm not wrong. We also got named top 30 in the nation Christian schools. Our campus take care of everyone, very kind people. Um, I think one of the main things about our campus is small campus, like so everyone knows each other. Everyone know like the teams, like the girls go support softball, basketball, football, and then they come to support us. Like it's a very tight environment that we have, and I think as an athlete, you want that. You want people to get to know you. You want people to go support your games, and you wanna. I think one of the main things about your college experience is that you want to expand your friend groups, right? You want to get know, for example, people from other countries or from other cities, and get to know them. And I think that's something that Louisiana College has to offer. We have people from many states now. We have people from many countries. I think Louisiana College before was a good place to be, but now it's gonna be even better just because we're moving into a competitive side of the sports. Even though we were D3 and it's still a good league, um, we're moving into being competitive. I think we're going to be very competitive in every single sport, and I think the school is prepared for that in the academic side as well. So I think we have a lot to offer. Um, and again, I couldn't be happier to be here and be the head coach for this process ahead of us.
Carla, we're certainly looking forward to seeing how the program develops over the next couple of years, and we're excited to see young coaches such as yourself really making a difference in the state of Louisiana. And we know we'll be seeing you at some of the ID camps that we'll be putting
Oh,
on. So you'll be able to be able to talk with our girls, and they'll be able to get to know you. I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, we'll be keeping track of you and your progress over the course of the year. Thanks for joining us this morning.
absolutely. Thank you for the time.
All right.
Appreciate you.